How do you know when a pumpkin pie is done? For one thing, open the oven door. Afterward, slowly nudge the pumpkin pie. Remember, never shake it. In so doing, you should observe that the pumpkin pie must be firm in the outer edges. Also, the middle is usually a bit jiggly, although it must not be unsteady or sloshy. Keep in mind that this technique is the same when checking the cheesecake's doneness. Also, always remember that you usually make pumpkin pie with milk and eggs. Besides, pumpkin pie is a custard. That is why it would not be best to leave it out overnight. But do not worry because you can conveniently store it in the fridge. Plus, pumpkin pie is best when you serve it cold, especially right out of the refrigerator. How do you know when a pumpkin pie is done? 1. The knife test. Always remember that the knife test is the most reliable technique to tell if pumpkin pie is ready. Because of this, make sure to insert your knife close to the pie's middle. In so doing, the pie is ready if the knife comes out clean. However, there is a disadvantage when using this test. For the most part, if you do this, you end up leaving a crack where you inserted your knife. Nevertheless, you can cover up the gap with some whipped cream. Likewise, you can even decorate the pumpkin pie with pastry cutouts. With this, ensure to arrange them properly over the opening. 2. The jiggle test. If you prefer not to poke a hole in the filling, you can utilize the jiggle test. To begin with, make sure to shake the pumpkin pie gently. Keep in mind that it will somewhat jiggle in the middle when the pie is ready. Though, your pumpkin pie must not be liquidy in any way. Nonetheless, it is the most effective test to prevent cracking the filling. 3. The thermometer test. Considerably, you can test the doneness by inserting your instant read thermometer in the pumpkin pie filling. Bear in mind that the pumpkin pie's internal temperature must be about 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Overcooking the pumpkin pie. No matter what, there will be an instance where you have accidentally overcooked pumpkin pie. That is why it is essential to set a timer for the minimum baking time. After that, ensure to monitor it the minute the alarm goes off. How to store pumpkin pie. In most cases, you can leave out your homemade pumpkin pie at room temperature for approximately 2 hours. Because of this, you should never leave it out beyond this period. The reason being is that you will risk the development of harmful bacteria. Additionally, if you store your pumpkin pie in the refrigerator, it will last for about 2 to 4 days. So with this, be sure to cool it first before refrigerating it. Also, it is all right to freeze pumpkin pie. Just keep in mind that it will remain at its best quality for about 1 to 2 months. In so doing, it would help to bake it in advance and store it in your freezer. Freezing pumpkin pie. First and foremost, it would help to bake the pumpkin pie in a disposable aluminum pie pan. The main reason is that these pie pans tend to be thinner. As a result, it will freeze faster. Not only that, but also it will stop the development of giant ice crystals. And because of that, it will ruin the texture of the pie. Besides that, make sure not to place any of your favorite ceramic or glass pans in the freezer. Furthermore, never forget to cool the pumpkin entirely. Because of this, it will take a couple of minutes on a cooling rack. Also, make sure to wrap it tightly with cling wrap. Plus, you can cover it with another layer of aluminum foil. Doing so will add protection against freezer burn. Then, you can freeze it. To thaw your frozen pumpkin pie, ensure to remove it from the freezer and transfer it to the fridge. After that, be sure to let it stay in the refrigerator for about 12 hours. Tips and tricks. Always make sure to let your pumpkin pie cool after baking. With this, be sure to do so for an hour. Afterward, ensure to cover and chill within 2 hours. Also, it would be best not to serve a still warm pumpkin pie to your guests. The main reason is that it will not hold its shape that well. Apart from that, cooled and firm always beat a mushy and warmish pumpkin pie. Bear in mind that the pumpkin pie's filling should deepen in color. In addition to that, it will puff out a little. Typically, this happens when you reach the recommended baking time of the recipe. Moreover, watch out for a bit of cracking around the edges. Remember, it is where the pumpkin pie meets the crust. Likewise, it is where you insert a knife to check for the pie's doneness. Also, keep in mind that the pumpkin pie's puff will relax since the pie cools. Not only that, but also it will hide its cracks. Furthermore, it is indeed okay to reheat the pumpkin pie. To do so, make sure to preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. After that, ensure to cover the pie loosely with aluminum foil when you finish preheating it. Then, be sure to let the pumpkin pie stand for several minutes before you serve it. 2 pies will cool the oven more if you intend to bake 2 pumpkin pies simultaneously. In addition to that, the convection oven will heat up even more due to compensating. Because of this, it would help to maintain the same temperature throughout and make sure to bake longer. However, if you do not have a convection oven at home, it would be best to rotate the pumpkin pies. Doing so will make the pies bake equally. If you liked this video, don't forget to like and subscribe.